Hello and welcome to today's presentation on Updox for Greenway PrimeSUITE, an integrated fax and document management solution. My name is Katie Lashy and I am the Director of Sales here at Updox. Welcome to today's presentation on Updox and PrimeSUITE. We're going to start today with a little bit of an overview on Updox. And then we'll go into an Updox workspace demonstration, specifically how it works with PrimeSUITE. And then we'll talk about an end-of-year pricing promotion, which is exciting, before we finish off with some questions. You might have noticed that the phone lines have been muted. We will be recording today's presentation, and muting the phone lines kind of helps with the quality of that recording. Please feel free to ask any questions, though, by using the GoToWebinar panel located on the right side of your screen. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. To tell you a little bit about Updox, we were founded in 2008. We're located in Columbus, Ohio, actually about 20 minutes north of Columbus in Dublin, Ohio. We are an integrated fax and document management solution. So we're able to connect with your PrimeSUITE patient database, enabling you to review your faxes electronically, send them into the patient's chart or into the document import session. Kind of talk through some of the goals of Updox. So the first one is just to eliminate the need to print documents. So I know that a lot of you have tried out electronic faxing solutions. Maybe you're on a fax server, maybe you're on DataFax, maybe you're on EHR fax, or maybe you even have the traditional paper fax still. But some of the things that we hear from PrimeSUITE customers is that even with those electronic solutions, there's still a need to print documents oftentimes. So if you were to receive a prescription, for instance, there's no editing capability, so you end up printing it, filling it out, scanning it back in. So one of the main goals of Updox is to continue to eliminate the need to print documents to help you become truly paperless along with your PrimeSUITE. Another big goal of ours is to help you with document management, reducing as many steps and clicks as possible. So in the interest of reducing steps, again, not having to print the document before editing and scanning back in, but also you'll see in our workspace that our sending screen allows you to complete multiple actions at once. So you'd be able to file to the patient's chart while also faxing out, which is very exciting for PrimeSUITE customers, rather than having multiple steps. And then finally, helping you organize practice workflow using custom tags and queues. So this is actually a key differentiator between the other solutions available for electronic faxing, and that would be our tags and queues. What they essentially allow you to do with queues, you can create miniature accounts within your main account. For instance, for PrimeSUITE users, oftentimes it's by location. So you could have location A with specific users assigned to location A, and then you could have location B with another group of users assigned to location B, so that while you all exist in one main account and you can have an administrative person able to see all of your faxes coming through, you're also able to zero in on the individual workflow of your particular location or department. And then tagging is kind of similar to folders in that it's just an easy way for you to organize and pass things to the people that need to see them as quickly as possible. And now we will go ahead and launch into the presentation. So I'm going to open my Updox workspace. So Updox is a web-based application. What that means is that you're actually able to access your faxes and secure messages anywhere with an internet connection. So what we're seeing here is the Updox inbox. This is going to be a practice inbox. So all of your faxes will be coming in these horizontal panels here. So your newer faxes will be on top, your older faxes will be down below. And another really nice feature of the Updox workspace is that you're able to view images a little easier than you can when they're just going straight into document import. So let's say this fax came through and it's an RX refill. I can actually mouse over the thumbnail image to preview the document and determine, well, this is a refill. It needs to go to a provider, for instance. So I can click on my tag here, and these are the tags that I mentioned. Assign that to Dr. Ramsey, and I can actually set my filter to say, I don't want to see those things that I've passed to Dr. Ramsey. When he's ready to pass them back to me, they'll fall back into my view. So that's just a really easy organizational way to use our tagging feature. And our tagging features are actually completely customizable. So if you wanted to use these, I've seen some practices use them for departments. I've seen some practices use them for locations or specific individuals if you wanted to have one for each of your providers. Those are all ways that I've seen those tags used. Another option you have is to click on the document to open it and edit it. So let's say I want to take a look. I'm Dr. Ramsey and I want to edit this prescription. All I would need to do is click on the thumbnail preview. It's going to open in full screen mode for me so that I can use my editing features. And this is the Updox editor. We tried to kind of think through the things that you might need at your practice based on your workflow. So some of the tools you have at your disposal here, you have a checkbox feature, you have a text feature, which come in handy for prescriptions and refills and such. You have a highlighting feature if you needed to draw attention to a certain piece of the document. And you actually have a redacting feature too, so that if you needed to white out a social security number, for instance, or correct an error on a page, you can use that redacting tool. The other piece that physicians find really useful is the signature. So for each of your users, you can store one signature so you can one-click sign documents electronically. You can also resize that signature once it's on there, move it around if you need to. And then we have a nice little date stamp here for you too. I'm going to go ahead and save my changes here. Now the really nice feature with our integration with PrimeSUITE is the ability to actually send into the EHR. We're able to send not only to the patient's chart, but also to document import. And as a web-based application, this means that if you are working at home and you didn't necessarily have PrimeSUITE on your computer, you can still be viewing your faxes and secure messages and sending them to the chart, regardless of whether you have PrimeSUITE on that computer. So for instance, if I needed to send this lab work to document import to associate it with an order, and I'll just mouse over here, and it looks like this is lab work. We'll need to send this to Sherry's chart. So I'll simply click Send Item within the sending screen. We are synced with your patient database so that I can just type in Sherry's name here. Click Send to EHR. Choose that I'm sending it to document import. And it's that easy to just send away into document import. So from there, you'd be able to hop into Greenway PrimeSUITE, associate it with an order, take whatever steps needed to move that document along. To show you the other direction, if you needed to send into the patient's chart rather than the document import section, so for instance, if you did not need to relate this to an order or assign it as a task, again, you just hit Send Item. In the sending screen, again, we'll hit Sherry's name here. And then I'm going to choose Patient's Chart. And this is where our integration with PrimeSUITE really comes in handy, because not only are you able to pull the patient's information, but you can also pull the categories within PrimeSUITE. So you can choose from your list of Greenway PrimeSUITE categories. This is going to include anything that comes out of the box, as well as any custom categories you've added on both the administrative and clinical side. So I'll go ahead and choose one of my categories here. The date of the item is going to default to today unless we change it. And I can actually sign off here as well. So if I'm the provider or if I'm an administrative role and I know that the provider has already signed the document, I can actually sign off on it as I'm filing it, which saves you that step once you get into PrimeSUITE. Another thing that I wanted to mention before we actually hop into PrimeSUITE and take a look at where those documents are landing is that within that sending screen, you're able to not only send it just to the patient's chart, but you can complete multiple actions at once. So if I wanted to send this into Sherry's chart, I would simply choose my categories, whether or not I wanted to sign off on it. And then we also have the send to contact field, which is how we would fax out. So if you needed to send this refill to a pharmacy as well, you can simply type in the 10-digit fax number, choose it from the list, And then you'll see a title and instruction section where you can actually adjust the title and instructions right on that fax cover sheet. So we include a cover sheet for you for your faxes going out that you can choose to send or not send using this checkbox here. If you do choose to use the cover sheet, you can also create a library of cover sheet templates. So if you find that you're sending the same sentence or two over and over again on your cover sheet, that's another way that we help you kind of save time, save a step, is allowing you to create these custom templates so that you could say, I'm sending this RS refill. I could give it a title if I want to, and now I'm sending it to the chart, and I'm also faxing it out. And when that document gets to the chart, there's going to be an added note there that says when this was filed, it was also faxed to this number. So that's a nice little audit feature for you. And now we'll go ahead and access PrimeSUITE and see. So just to review, we had sent 2 documents to the patient's chart and 1 to document imports. So first, I'll go ahead and go to the document import section. Choose my patient here. We are considered an uploaded file. So here's that lab work that we had sent in. And now within PrimeSUITE, I can complete the same steps that I would generally do. So if I needed to relate it to an order, I can. I can choose the date. I can rename the document. I can assign it to another user within PrimeSUITE, change the priority, and save. Now the other section that we send to within PrimeSUITE is the patient's chart. So I'll go ahead and back up here and head to Share Smith's chart. And the documents that we had filed are going to appear in the document section of Sherry's chart. And here are those documents we had filed. So here's the prescription refill. And this is that additional actions taken. And this lets you know that when I had filed this, I had also faxed to that number with these instructions. That's a nice little audit feature when you're sending to the chart. If you needed to pull information from the patient's chart, the way that we allow you to do that is through the virtual printer. So the way that works is you would just choose Print Fax Document. And Updox is going to be one of your options on your printer list. Click OK. And that's going to make an electronic copy of this document, move it into your Updox workspace, and then from there, again, you have those editing features that we had shown before we sent it to the chart, or you can just simply fax it out, which we'll cover again. Hopping back into my Updox workspace here. And that's virtually printing the file. And here's that virtually printed file that we just accessed. So from there, if we needed to fax out, it would be as easy as hitting send item, keying in the fax number, choosing send fax to, and then again, you have the option to include a cover sheet. You include the cover sheet, choose from a template, give it a title, and then hit send to send out. One really nice feature with our outbound faxing, which I'm sure that you'll appreciate having to fax so often, is the transmission report. So if a fax would fail for any reason, we proactively notify you using your Updox inbox. You would see a little blue fax failed note appear in the top section here. It would include your original attachment, the reason that it failed. So if the phone line was disconnected or was busy, we do try 3 or 4 times, just like a regular fax machine would. But if for any reason it doesn't go through, we do proactively let you know so that you can send it again. You're also able to go to your sent items at any point and find any of the documents that you had faxed out as soon as it stacks out successfully, it'll say this fax was successfully sent at such and such time. So you have the benefit of being notified proactively if it fails, and you also have the benefit of that log in your sent items for any faxes that you do send. If, for instance, you wanted to swing back around 4 hours later when an office calls and says they didn't get something, you have a record that they did. And those are the basic features for sending into the chart, moving items out of the chart, and then faxing out. A couple other quick features. We showed you the virtual printer as a way to get documents into Updox. We also have a drag and drop feature. So this is kind of a nifty feature. If you have paperwork that you send regularly that you're filling out and then scanning in, you can actually save it onto your desktop or into a shared drive, and you can one-click grab documents, drag them into the Updox workspace, and it'll upload a copy of that document there so that you're able to edit it, include it with something you're sending out, and away it goes, again, removing the paper part of the process. We also have an auto-upload folder that you can point your scanner to. In the instance that you had any documents that you needed to scan in, they scan right into Updox then, and then from there you can edit them, send them to the chart. It just makes it another easy way for you to get information into Updox. The last thing I wanted to cover about the basic features and how they apply to PrimeSUITE are those queues that I mentioned. So we touched on the tags. If you needed to kind of quickly file something to another user, these tags are really handy for that. You also have queues where if you had 3 locations, you could create a different queue for each location. You could point different fax numbers to each location and assign different users to each location, so that it's almost as though you have several miniature accounts within a main account. And then you're able to assign someone to be the administrative role and say who has access to what queues. So maybe I need to see all queues, but I can kind of segregate out the list for all the other users so that they're only seeing the things that really pertain to them. And again, as I mentioned, a lot of practices direct different numbers to different queues as well. So if you have different numbers for departments, different numbers for locations, you are able to kind of sort those out and have a little bit more organized workflow within the Updox workspace. Updox does include one free number with your account. You're welcome to use this number outright, or some practices will call forward to the number, or we're able to port your number over in some instances as well, so that you would actually eliminate the cost of that monthly phone bill. So those are the 3 ways that your faxes actually start coming in, would be the porting, the forwarding, or just using our number outright. And then we also offer additional numbers as well. So if you did have 8 to 10 fax lines, for instance, an additional fax line is only $2 per month, which compared to the 20 to 30 that you're probably spending for that line otherwise, can really be a cost savings with porting. And then one last thing I did want to touch on, since I know that the PrimeSUITE is really a close network, is the refer and share program. So let's say that you're exchanging faxes with several places over and over rather than a smorgasbord of practices kind of in a one-off situation. You can actually use our refer and share program to invite someone to use a free version of Updox. It includes secure messaging. So basically, you'd be secure messaging with them rather than faxing. Some of the benefits of secure messaging is that it would not count towards your fax page count, so that's a part of our pricing. Another many pieces that you have a really clear audit trail. You can not only see when the document was sent, but also when it was opened with other practices. And there's no limit to how many people you can invite to use this free secure messaging network. So some instances we see practices connecting with other practices. Some instances we see practices who maybe a law office has requested a 200-page patient summary that you don't want to send 200 pages worth of faxes to. They'll say, well, use this refer and share program, and you can send it electronically, not use any of your fax pages, not have to worry about mailing something. Those are just a couple instances of the way that I've seen this free secure messaging used. Okay. And that kind of concludes the demonstration portion of the presentation. So I'll hop back into my PowerPoint again. I hope you're able to see kind of how Updox brings all of your information into one place. It really opens up the ability for you to edit documents electronically. Our integration with PrimeSUITE allows us to send directly into the chart or into the document import section, which is a really nice feature for PrimeSUITE users, and ultimately helps you better organize your workflow. So I will go ahead and move on to our pricing promotion. So I mentioned before that we have an end-of-year pricing promotion. The way that that pricing promotion works, so our pricing in general is based on the number of providers you have, as well as your fax volume from there. And the pricing promotion we're offering for the end of the year is anyone beginning their price or their 15-day free trial by December 16th using the promotional code PRIME will be able to take advantage of single provider pricing for your first 3 months as a customer. So not only do we offer a 15-day free trial so that you can try the service, find out if it's a fit for you, we actually even set the connection with Greenway so that you're able to see Updox in action essentially for free without a commitment. But we also are going to extend that pricing promotion for your first 3 months as a paying customer from there. So during that trial, what happens is we connect your Updox account with your PrimeSUITE patient database with Greenway's help. From there, we'll have a training session one-on-one, kind of a go-live with one of our account managers. And then we also have an onboarding specialist that will help you in the meantime during that free trial, answer any questions you have, make sure you're comfortable and really seeing the value of the service. And just to give you an idea of how we've seen that trial used for PrimeSUITE users in particular, since I know a lot of you have larger practices, we've seen it used where we forward all of your numbers and you kind of hit the ground running for the full practice. We've also seen some practices just forward one number to kind of get a taste to see how Updox is without diving headfirst into it. So we've definitely seen that go either way. And again, that 15-day free trial is without commitment. So if by the end of the trial you decided that it wasn't a fit for you, you're certainly welcome to cancel your account without any charge. And that is the end of the presentation. You'll see here that this is the site that you'd want to visit if you did want to move forward with that free trial. It would just be updox.com/Greenway. And the promotional code is PRIME. And I will go ahead and include that information in the email that goes around with the recording as well, which I hope to get out sometime tomorrow. And with that, I will go ahead and take a look at questions now. Okay, so it looks like we have a question on slides and or the recording. So there were just a few slides, so we usually don't include those in the thank you email that goes around, but we will be sending around the recording, so you can certainly share that with your practice staff. What kind of hardware is needed? There's actually no hardware with Updox, so it's a web-based application. So what happens is we get your site ID from you, we connect your Updox account with your Greenway account with Greenway's help, and then from there, anywhere that you log into your Updox, you're actually connected with Greenway, no hardware necessary. And kind of the benefit there is that being a web-based application, you can access it anywhere. And also, since it's web-based faxing, I'm not sure if you've run into situations where you're getting busy signals or maybe you're waiting until the end of the day to send out a big document because it ties up the fax line, or if you have only 5 fax lines and so only 5 people can be faxing at a time and you kind of have to take turns. I've heard that from some PrimeSUITE users as well. Updox does offer server-based faxing so that the busy signals wouldn't be an issue, and we can provide you with as many numbers as you'd like for that just additional few dollars per month that I'd mentioned before. So adding more lines, you wouldn't run into a situation where you only had a certain amount of people able to fax at a time. So just a couple nice benefits of the web-based application and the server-based faxing. And this is a question about pricing per provider. We can absolutely provide individual price quotes based on your practice. The way that our pricing works is it's a per provider fee, and then you included in that base fee, you'll have a certain amount of fax pages, which includes inbound and outbound, and then additional fax lines. So those are kind of the three numbers that would make up your base fee, and we can certainly provide you with a quote. We'll just have one of our account managers reach out to you to take care of that for you. And then it looks like my last question is on contract. So we actually do not have a contract. We're a month-to-month service. You can vote with your wallet each month. If you were to stay on board after the free trial for a couple of months and then decided it wasn't for you, you can certainly just cancel your account at that point as well. So month-to-month service, no contract. And then another question on pricing. This is actually something I hear a lot from PrimeSUITE users, and that is, what is the additional charge from Greenway, since I know that sometimes there's a charge on their end. We are actually a vendor within their marketplace, so there's no additional charge because we absorb that charge as a vendor within the marketplace. So the only charge you would have would be the cost of your Updox account. So no hidden fees or anything like that. And then another question came through, are there different versions of Updox? There is just the, since it's a web-based application, any updates that go out, and we are constantly kind of improving the product, doing quality control, rolling out updates. Those will all happen automatically because it is a web-based application. Okay, I think that's it. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties getting started a little bit late, but I hope you found the information valuable. I will be sending around a thank you email with the recording sometime tomorrow. You're welcome to share that with your team. And then our account managers will be calling to follow up and answer any other questions that you might have. And so thank you so much for your time today. Have a great afternoon.